Okay, hello and welcome to week 2 of learning piano with Pianote. This week hasn't been so much about playing, it's been more about learning to read sheet music. So I've got a few things written down that should hopefully help me to describe what I've been practicing and what I've been learning this week. So the first thing I learned this week was about scale intervals. So if I was playing in C major, which is all the white keys, C would be my root note, D would be my second, E would be my third, F would be my fourth, and G would be my fifth. And it would carry on 6th, 7th, and then 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, but just with one hand I can only get up to my 5th. So that's as far as I've been learning so far. The second thing I learned was about the clefs. So with the right hand it's called the treble clef or the G clef, and it's called the G clef. I've got it drawn here to show you. So it kind of looks like a capital G, and the line that it spirals around here is the G line of the staff. So, of the treble clef part of the staff. So that's the lines of the treble clef staff that you play with your right hand. So in the spaces the notes are F, A, C, E, and the lines are E, G, B, D, F. So face is obviously an easy one to remember, and E, G, B, D, F, every good boy deserves fudge, is what I've been told to remember. But I just find it easier to learn the notes in the spaces and kind of use a bit of common sense and kind of work around that. I'm just finding it a bit easier that way. And then with the right hand you've got the bass clef, also known as the F clef, and these two dots of the F clef, they kind of surround the F line of the bass clef part of the staff. So you'd think it'd be the same, but it's not. In the bottom you've got A, C, E, G in the spaces, and G, B, D, F, A as the lines. So it's a little bit confusing to remember at first, but I think I'm getting a bit more used to it now. A, C, E, G could stand for all cows eat grass, and G, B, D, F, A could stand for good boys deserve fudge always. But again, I find it easier just to memorise the notes in the spaces and kind of use a bit of common sense and work them out, and a bit of assumption, and kind of work it out from there. And then that's how it links up. So you'd have C on the middle line, which they put on a ledger line, and it kind of hangs out in the middle of the two staffs. And then you'd have B and D either side of it, which kind of links the whole thing together. So yeah, they're the two parts of the grand staff, it's called. When you put those two together, it's called the grand staff, which is very grand. And so yeah, from there I've gone on to learn what I showed a couple of minutes ago, the different intervals, how they're marked out. So a second interval would look like that. So say this was C, my bottom one, on the kind of middle line here. That would be C and D, because D's in the space and C's on a line. So that's kind of an easy way to remember that. If you've got some, and plus if you're playing a second, they kind of put it like on the other side, so it's kind of like nudging up against it. so that's quite an easy one to like look for and easily remember. A third, well, I'll go play a second. The second sounds a bit, the notes are a bit close together, so it sounds a bit tense. A third, so you've got a line and then a line, so that would, in this example, if the bottom one's C, oh sorry, C, you would then have E, C and E, so the two lines, and that again, it's a pretty easy one to, I found that pretty easy to remember and sight read, because they're just, it's just the next one. Yeah, I'm sure you can understand why it's pretty easy to remember. A fourth, this one I found a little bit more difficult to recognise at like a glance, but it's getting there. So if I was playing C as the bottom one on the line, that the top note would be an F, and then again a fifth, I find that one quite easy because it's an even one, so a line and a line, that would be C and G. Yeah, so that's what that looks like. I'll play each one for you. So this is the second, this is the third, fourth, and the fifth. Yeah, I think out of those, the most kind of pleasing ones to my ear are definitely a fifth and a third. Those two sound really nice. The other ones, the other two, the second and the fourth. The fourth not so much, but the second definitely feels like the two notes are rubbing up against each other. But yeah, that's just what I think about it. The next thing I learned was rests. So when it's written down, you'll have these two different kind of symbols here. This is a half rest, and they recommend remembering that because it looks like a little top hat. So half hat, they both begin with H, I guess. So that's one way of remembering it, I guess. And a whole rest, so it's basically the same thing but flipped upside down. They describe it as looking like a kind of a pit that someone would fall into, but I don't know, it just like, it's pretty easy for me just to remember it as the opposite of a half rest. So yep, that's that. So if you see one of these, it basically means that whatever clef it's on, so say it was on your bass clef, your left hand, which is playing the lower notes, wouldn't be playing anything while the notes are playing in the treble clef up top. So yeah, and I've actually got, I was going to play a bit from one of the videos, one of the bits of sheet music that basically helps you to practice your intervals. So yeah, I'll run through that. Oh, I'm sorry, I was meant to play that with my left hand. It gets a bit confusing when you start seeing notes in both of the clefs. So you're playing notes with both hands because they're in different places. For example, at the end, C is on the third space down. So C is on the third space down in my left hand, whereas I'm reading the C as middle C here on the ledger line between the two staffs for my right hand. So it's a little bit awkward, but I'm getting used to it. So then I've gone on to learn suspended chords. So it's basically a combination of these simpler ones here, either a second, a third, a fourth or a fifth interval played together, but then with another note added. So here, say this bottom one was, it's pretty easy to work out. If this was a C, this would be an F, and this would be a G. And that makes a C suspended 4, because your C major chord would look like this, but you've kind of suspended the third to a fourth, if that makes sense. I get it, but I think it's going to take a little while to click, but there you go. So we've got a C sus4, that's how it's written on the music. Generally won't see it written like that, but I'm still in the early stages of learning, so they're good enough to give me the kind of written form of it as well. So C sus4, then I've just got a C major chord, so C, E, G, and then a C sus2. So rather than suspending the third note as a fourth, I've moved it down and it's played as a second, and then C sus2. So yeah, there's another piece of music that I've got to play you all, that includes those those three, proper triads, 3-note chords. So in the beginning it is just a kind of shell chord, so it's just C and G, so a fifth, but then you go from that to a fourth, to the major chord, to the second, and back to the major chord. And then it's playing it broken up, so like a C, a G, a C, a G. That's basically your shell chord, they call it, where you're just playing the two outer notes, you're not playing the middle, either 2, 3 or 4. And then so you're playing the C and the G, and then you move into your left hand and you're playing a suspended fourth but broken, so C, F, G, F, and then a standard C chord, C, E, G, C, C, E, G, E, and then a second but broken, so suspended second but broken, so C, D, G, D, and then back to just a normal C major chord, C, E, G, E, and then you play both hands together as a, this one's a bit confusing, I don't know why I find this one hard, but you go from a C suspended 4 in both hands to a C major in both hands. So I'll play that through without kind of talking over it. For some reason I find doing that suspended fourth chord in both hands at the same time after that little run of single notes quite a brain like twister. So it goes, sorry, I'm just doing this for my own sake, C, D, G, D, C, E, G, E, suspended fourth, C major. So yeah, that's basically it for this week. I think the hardest thing has just been recognising where the notes are and memorising different placements of notes for different hands. So like I showed earlier, how a C, this is just an easy example for me to say, but a C in my left hand is here in the third space down, whereas C in my right hand is placed on the ledger line, kind of between the two staffs, and it's just a bit like getting my eyes trained to recognising the notes when I see them. But yeah, apart from that, I'm really enjoying myself. Still spending half an hour a day at least practicing, and yeah, it's definitely getting easier, and I'm finding it a lot of fun and a great pastime. So yeah, that's week 2, and I'll be back next week with another progress report. So see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.